Hey everyone, what's going on? It is Wednesday. It is May 27th, I believe. Corona days just run together. But thank you for joining me on another edition of In Conversation. Today's guest is going to be the founder of HBCU Week, which is an awesome initiative I want to really share with you guys. Her name is Ashley Christopher, Esquire. As you can see, I'm repping my HBCU, the illustrious Howard University. So let me join Ashley in right now and we will get started. Hopefully you guys are having a great week so far. Let's see. Cool. Okay, Ash, I sent you the request. Hopefully this will go through. We'll be good. Hey, Ash.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Here, let me
Good.
knows who I am today.
Okay.
Takes me thing. Hey, come back. Oh no. Shadows. Man, it's going quick. Okay, this pin might not work. Let me try one more time.
Uh-oh.
Work. I thought I usually just had to touch it and hold it, but I guess it's not happening today. All right, well, I'll pin it again. I'll just post it again. But how
Okay.
is it?
Everything's going well, just making adjustments to this new normal.
Yeah,
Trying to establish some structure to the day because if I don't, the hours get away and I end up not knowing what day it is, what time it is. So
same.
I'm maintaining. I'm maintaining.
Thank you for joining today.
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
So I was just giving a little snippet before you joined, but really want to just get into what HBCU Week is. I'm super excited about it, but would love for you to just share what it is for people who don't know, and we'll just
Yeah.
go from.
Sure. Okay, so I founded HBCU Week back in 2017. It started as a small idea just to engage Wilmington area high school age students with HBCUs. I'm a double HBCU alum. I went to Howard University for undergrad with
Mhm.
you. And I went to University of DC for law school. And the impact that these institutions have had, I mean, they have changed my life. And I take full responsibility to make sure I expose those coming behind me to all of those opportunities. So I wanted to get students excited about the potential of attending. So I expected to get maybe about 200 kids and 5 HBCUs my first year in 2017. But after I started to market the event, I had 700 kids and 11 HBCUs, and everyone was just so riled up to get engaged.
Wow, that's
So, yeah, it's grown so much. So it started in 17. We're approaching HBC Week 2020, which is going to look a whole lot different. But it's
yeah.
grown tremendously every year.
Wow. So the first year you said college fair, and
Yes.
well, so then what was the evolution? Each year did it change and evolve? How did that?
Yeah, because people were asking for more. So you have a lot of alum that are wondering how they can get engaged. So it turned into a week long of events. Now, the
Okay.
cornerstone of HBCU Week is the college fair because that's where all the kids get the opportunity to get into college on the spot
Yep.
and get a scholarship award. So that's always the most premier event. So far we've had over 2,000 acceptances on the spot and more than $4 million in scholarships awarded.
3 years.
So
3 years.
yeah,
Oh my God,
yes.
incredible.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I know. It is. I mean, even when I say it, I'm still like it shocks me every time I say it because it just doesn't sound like how did we get this done, right? So after the college fair, we expanded it because we got a lot of interest from people in Delaware and the surrounding states. So it turned into a week long of events to really give kids an authentic HBCU homecoming experience in
Wow,
addition to the college fair. So that's how it really, really expanded.
that's awesome. Let's give a
Yeah.
shout out to Howard alum, fellow Howard alum joining us.
Yes, HU.
Free to drop them in, questions and comments. Um,
Hmm.
that's incredible. And so I know. right now it's based in Delaware. Now, did you choose Delaware because that's where you're from? Like a need that you saw?
Oh yeah. So I am from Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay.
And I started it here because I wanted the kids here to get the same experience I did. Without the expectation that it would catch on and people in surrounding states. I mean, I have people that come to my college fair as far as Florida and Connecticut. I mean, there's a need nationwide.
Yeah.
So originally the idea was to house it here, keep it here, but I'm in talks to go on tours around the country to have like pop-ups, HBCU week pop-ups around the country.
Yeah, that's so cool. Now, was there anything similar in existence before you started?
So I had to do some research, obviously, because there are legal documents that I'm going to have to file, to legitimize myself. There
Right.
is an initiative that comes out of the White House. It's called the HBCU Week Conference. It gathers HBCU presidents. They talk about the state of HBCUs. There's a lot of different HBCU branded events, but nothing like what's going on here in Wilmington. So I definitely respect all the other HBCU brands, what they're doing to bring awareness. But there's just a different, line that we're all tethering. So nobody's really, HBCU week is unique for
Yeah,
sure.
no, I'm trying to think. So when I grew up outside of Detroit, I know
Yeah.
we had college tours, which were really popular. So like
Hmm.
get on a bus and go, to wherever region. My year, we did like DC, Virginia. So we did, and I think we went to Delaware. Delaware. So we did like East Coast, um,
Okay. Okay.
all that. So yeah, but
Hmm.
it's just thinking about bringing it to the kids because when you chose to go to Howard, what was your action? How did you even choose Howard if there was anything like this, then?
Well, it's actually, I'm glad you asked that. It's interesting. So in my head, I always wanted to go to Spelman.
Oh,
And I was going to Spelman. Nobody could tell me different. I was going to Spelman.
yeah,
But then my parents put me in an all girls Catholic high school. So going through that process, I'm like, I don't want to do this again, right? My sister got into Howard. She was loving it. I went
yeah,
down to homecoming. She was on the dance squad, ooh la la. And it was just the most lively experience I'd ever seen. And I'm like, oh, I'm going here.
yeah.
And to make matters even more complicated, when I first applied to Howard, I didn't get in. So I
Oh
got
wow,
a rejection letter. Yeah. And I was devastated. Like, why? And my personality type at that time was kind of like, oh, maybe I should call. They made a mistake. Like, what do you mean you're rejecting me? Like, this can't be happening. So I called and I'm like, hey, I got a rejection letter. Like, is there anything I can do? Like, I'm supposed to be here, just really advocating for myself. So they told me I could write a letter in defense of, my admission to see if they could reverse the decision.
yeah,
And they did. So I had a FedEx package on my door within like a week later, just with my acceptance. So
that's awesome.
it,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yes, yes, yes. So I'm really happy I did that because Howard is one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, for
Yeah, I
sure.
have Blake said at HBCU saved my life. So
Yes, Blake. I love Blake. Blake is the official host of all HBCU week events. He's great. So anybody needs a host, you hit up Blake the Brain in the comments.
people are loving your story. Cheyenne said that's how Ash the lawyer was born.
Yes, I would have to agree. I would have to agree. Yeah.
I, I think Howard was one of the best decisions I made. I was, I almost didn't go though either because I had gotten accepted. I applied to like a ridiculous amount of schools and I got accepted to Howard. Hampton actually gave me a better scholarship. And so my parents were kind of like, right, you probably need to go where the money is. And so
Yeah.
his name is Mr. O'Connell. He got
Okay.
four in Detroit, but he had a very close relationship with students from Detroit who went to Howard. And so
Okay.
my and mentioned to him, he was asking about test scores and stuff, and he was like, "Wait, these are her test scores. You didn't offer her anything?" And my mom was like, "No, I didn't get anything." And like, I don't know who called or said, but I'm telling you, probably 24 to 48 hours text on the stoop when I got home was like,
Shut
"Here's your
up.
scholarship," and I was like, right, this is where I'm going. Yes,
That
yes,
is
yes.
so
So
awesome. That is
Yeah.
awesome. And that kind of experience, I mean, those are the things that you can like reach back and pull on in some of the moments where you're insecure or unsure, right? Like, so I always kind of store that in my mental Rolodex when I'm going through certain things. There's like a few stories that I pull on to kind of pull myself out of any insecurity I'm experiencing at the moment. So that's definitely a story for you that you
Yeah.
should hold on to forever.
Yeah. And it's interesting because as we've been talking, it just kind of hit that instance. I had someone to advocate for me, and then you were your own advocate. And so I think that's that HBCU week is sort of thing that as well for potential HBCU students, like advocating for them. I know they're getting admitted on site, which is incredible too.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, like if you can experience it, the whole room is filled with like, well, last year we had about 3,500 kids.
Oh my God.
All you hear is screams and yes, I got in. Oh my God. People are getting full rides on the spot.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. The energy is just something that you have to be there to experience.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's definitely amazing.
That is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
About your background. Howard, you also went to UDC Law School. So you are a lawyer, but you don't practice traditionally, you said, right?
Right, yeah.
Come into play in terms of getting you to HBCU Week and everything else that you do now. Like, what was your path kind of to get here?
Yeah, so in my mind, I always knew I wanted to be a lawyer since I was a kid. So that was the straight and narrow path that I was on.
Yeah.
I ended up having my son the end of my Howard career. He was actually with me at graduation. He was 3 months old. So I knew I had to shift. I had to pivot and change my plans. Thank you. I know, Ryan. So I had to pivot. I took 3 years off, with home with Ryan, and decided, I need to get to law school. Like, I'm going to do this. So I started looking into different schools, and I ended up going to the University of DC. That was the best path for me to go. After graduating, I did a clerkship for 3 years. So I was in Superior Court, I was in Family Court, I was in the Court of Common Pleas. And as time went by, I just felt more and more convicted that I didn't want to be a traditional lawyer.
Yeah.
I've always been passionate about advocacy. There's 3 things I love: advocacy, social impact, and entertainment. And I was trying to find a way to marry those 3 things to create, like, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do for a career?
Right.
So I kept doing things to like make money and sustain myself. And I came up with HBCU week, and then I'm like, I found it. Like, this is my path. This is it. Right. So my expectation now is to, continue to build this legacy, but to branch out and do other things that are aligned with it. Because I knew I was so insecure about it, Nyki. Like, it was bad. Like, I spent all this time and money going to law school, and then everyone's like, oh, well, now you're a lawyer. What firm are you going to? And I never wanted to do it. Like, I never wanted to do it. I'm like, I couldn't force myself to do it. So I think I know that I finally found my lane, and I'm so grateful for that. And I'm going to continue to propel in the direction that I am inclined to go.
That's awesome. And I love your story because I think that's so real for so many people. Like, you have this major in undergrad, you might even go to grad for this thing, and then you get out and you're like, I don't want to do that.
Yes.
Awesome that, you found your path anyway, even though you didn't take it. So, are you able to, by the way, it looks like a comment says I'm not as clear.
I can see you. You're just a tad pixelated.
Let me try the Wi-Fi. Hopefully that'll be better. We'll see. Are you still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Perfect. Hopefully that'll work. I don't know. I'm telling you, technology, I feel like everybody's home. Everybody's using all the Wi-Fi everywhere.
I know. Like, give us some Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Here, but I need Wi-Fi too.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
So, thing that I think is super awesome about HBCU Week is now you've adopted ambassadors.
Mm-hmm.
Is this your first year having an ambassador?
So we landed our first ambassador after last year's HBCU Week Gala.
Yep.
So what we do in between of HBCU Week, like, that's annual in September. But in the wintertime, we do a gala where we gather supporters of HBCU Week and alum, and we honor people that support HBCUs.
Okay.
So we landed our first ambassador after last year's gala, who is Stephen A. Smith.
Yes.
Stephen A. is awesome. He promotes the brand at every opportunity he gets. He went to Winston-Salem State University, and he has given back tremendously to his institution. So we wanted to highlight that, get him on board, and we're going to continue to build that Rolodex of ambassadors as well. There's a few people that we have on tap that we're going to probably announce soon. But we want to continue to expand it and just build awareness to make, because a lot of times when you see successful Black people in any industry, you don't assume that they came from an HBCU.
Right.
And that conversation needs to be had. And there's still people out here that don't know that Oprah went to an HBCU.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
actually, I don't know. Where'd she go?
Tennessee State.
I don't think I
Yes. There's so many HBCU alum that are out here killing it and have been forever. So it's just about building awareness and letting kids know you can do and be anything.
Yeah.
Anything coming from an HBCU.
Not a decision. It's like just as awesome.
Yes. That is definitely the message.
Question, is there a charge for students to participate in HBCU Week?
No, the college fair is absolutely free. We do have events that we do charge for. We do concerts or gatherings of that sort. We also have a panel discussion that is free. So the only time there's a charge is if there's some talent performing. But outside of that, we will never charge for the college fair.
Yep. Cool. Yes. Barbara says she's heard him promote it. She's heard Stephen A. Smith promote HBCU Week. Guy said HBCUs deserve much more credit, and I totally agree.
Yeah, for sure. And I was so impressed with Stephen A. because when he was marketing, after he came on for HBCU Week as our official ambassador, he went on a press tour all over the country. Wow. And when he had his stop in New York, he invited us up, like, we're at the Breakfast Club, Hot 97, Sirius XM Radio. And every interview, he was talking about the importance of HBCUs, his experience, and why he loves this initiative. So, it just, little moments like that, well, that was a huge moment. But moments like that just remind me that this is something that's so necessary.
Mm-hmm. So absolutely. And I think other HBCU alum will be happy to support, like, DJ Envy went to him. And so, I think they're like use because it's that experience, that you have. Yeah. I just want to share. Everyone should go to an HBCU.
Everybody, come on. Yeah, I know. I have the same feeling about that too.
And is the college fair only for high school?
Yes, it is. The college fair is for high school students. The acceptances on the spot are only available to seniors.
Okay.
Because obviously juniors don't have all of the documents. They still have another year to go through. So right now it's just any high school student can attend, and I encourage 9th through 12th, because that way you can get acclimated with what it is you need to do and how to prepare to get into these institutions. Right. And then once you hit your senior year, I have kids walking away with several acceptances on the spot, like options.
Wow.
Same with scholarships from the different representing institutions at the fair. So yeah, it's just an amazing opportunity.
I have to go to the next one for sure.
Yes.
From the individual institutions, or does HBCU Week itself also have scholarships?
So right now we have scholarships from the institutions, and we also have a partnership with the Chemours Company. Okay. So the Chemours Company, it's a local chemical company. It's a spinoff from DuPont. It's here, headquartered in Wilmington. And nice. They have committed. So far, the first partnership we landed with them was for $400,000. And it was for 10 $40,000 scholarships to kids that go to the fair, commit to an HBCU, and study STEM. But we've recently expanded that for another 10 years, $2.4 million. So, and these scholarships, it's incredible. I'm telling you, these scholarships are not like, here's your $2,000. It's like, no, here's your $40,000. Perform and make it through.
That's incredible.
Yeah. 40,000, and it's complete. It's a wraparound service, right? So Chemours, they are great. I think they are our founding partners. They were the first to jump on and fully commit to this initiative. And they're offering internships for their scholars. They really just want to see our kids succeed.
Yeah.
Because they have a mission to hire people that represent where their offices are located. So they are really leaning in to make sure that they get Black and brown kids involved in their company.
And it means so much that it's not just like, here, we're giving money to this cause. See, it's like you said, they're investing in the whole thing. Sean, tell us, like, so
Yes.
dope.
I mean, I have 2 scholars at Howard right now. I have 2 at North Carolina A&T and 1 at Dell State. And then there's another wave that, depending on how the semesters roll out in September, but we have another 5 that are transitioning to their institutions as well. So it's just exciting. I'm so excited for them to be able to unlock their potential without worrying about, like, where am I going to get the money to pay this?
Huge. That's so huge.
Yeah.
Keep in touch with your past, like, scholars. You kind of follow them, I guess now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. They all came back for the gala this past February. So we had, well, actually it was March 1st this year. Yeah. So it was a great time to catch up, and we keep up together, like, via text or email. I always want to know how they're doing. Their grades are just incredible. Our recent class of 4, after their first semester, their GPA, their average GPA was like a 4.6. I'm like, how is that? Like, I didn't know you could do that. But yeah, so they're set. They are completely set. They're doing well. Yeah. Yeah.
How can we support HBCU Week?
So my website should be up within the next few weeks. We're building it right now. It's just a landing page, but there will be all kinds of opportunities on there to donate, participate, volunteer. And the website is hbcuweek.org.
Okay, cool. And then I think you said, did you say recently became, are you 501c3 now?
In the process, almost.
Very cool.
Yeah. Almost.
That's so incredible. Like, this whole story is just, like, amazing to me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. For sure.
So what would you say to the critics who are like, HBCUs, there's no need for them anymore? What's the point? What's the purpose? Because there are those people out there who are like, why? We should all be, we all talk about diversity and blah, blah, blah. Why?
Yeah. So that's interesting, because I actually had to have that conversation with someone before who criticized the fair because only HBCUs were represented. So my fair will always be HBCUs only. It's never going to include anything outside of that. And I'm a proponent of, we have our entire lives to be minorities, our entire lives. That is something that we're going to have to face no matter what we do.
Yep.
And there's a very critical point for us once we hit our college years, because at that point, we're still kind of learning ourselves, figuring out what we need to do, growing our confidence, building ourselves up. And if we can do that around like-minded people that look like us, that care about us, that have common goals, that is the absolute best place that you can put yourself in. Howard taught me that I belong in any room I walk into.
Yeah.
That I am enough no matter where I go, no matter who's surrounding me. And I don't believe, even though that's something my parents encouraged me with and instilled in me, I don't believe I would have gotten that true, authentic experience without going to an HBCU.
Yeah.
So I believe that for that reason alone, I mean, that's why that decision is so critical for anybody deciding on which college to go to.
Yeah, I agree. I think so many people are commenting like they totally agree with your sentiments. I remember for me, I was in a suburb, so it was very diverse, but there were a lot of Black people in my school. So like the first few classes at Howard, I sat down and I was like, oh my gosh, there's like really, my whole class is other Black people. I'm not going to feel weird when we talk about slavery. And I'm like, the whole class, like all of those. And I agree. It's something too. I really like the family, for sure. But I know that's across all HBCUs. Like, you feel you're in this together. You have each other's back. It's just like ingrained.
Yes, 100%. I mean,
So,
the feeling you have to experience. Yeah.
yep. Okay. Comment. I'm
Okay.
National Black MBA Association, a former national president and chairman of the board. I would like to speak with you offline about how the MBAA can possibly support. So,
Oh, awesome. So you can send me an email at christopher@hbcuweek.org, or you can just send me a DM at a Christopher_ESQ, whichever you prefer.
okay. Awesome. There was also a question. You guys have merch.
Oh, we do. Did you notice I was wearing it? Maybe I need to stand up so you can see.
Every
This
this
is
want this so bad.
yeah. So I have a few pieces.
Okay.
I have a few pieces here, but we actually just ordered some more today. So I have some here,
Okay.
some coming in, website still getting together. If you absolutely must have something right now, you can DM hbcuweek.org. I'll check the inventory and I promise to get back to you.
Yes. Okay. Because I see, I'm like, I want one of those. They're so dope.
Yeah, I love them. The design is great and they pop everywhere. So yeah, I'm
Yes.
happy with them too.
Another comment, and HBCUs are in huge need of the same level of funding received by predominantly white institutions.
What was the beginning of the question?
HBCUs are in need of the same level of funding as predominantly white institutions.
Are they?
Yeah, she was saying they are. She agrees.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And you know, the thing that I'm a proud Howard alum. I wouldn't have chosen to go to any other school, right? But so far too frequently, you only hear about the top tier HBCUs. And
mhm,
people think that, well, if Howard and Hampton and Morehouse and Spelman and Clark are doing okay, then we're fine. But there's 107 HBCUs out there. And they could all use some additional funding. So it's about advocating, you know, starting locally, graduating to the federal, and really encouraging your alumni to give back.
yeah.
It's hard. I know that times are difficult and you can't force someone to give what they don't have,
Mhm.
but that is a huge part of it as well. You have alumni from, you know, these PWIs that are reaching in their pockets and giving a lot of money, but then, you know, that also relates back to systemic racism and the place that whites have been in to be able to afford to give, right?
Right.
So we're still fighting for that place to
Yeah.
get to that comfortable state to give to our institutions. So there's so many layers to that conversation.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, we are in need of funding.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. I
Yeah.
encourage all the HBCU alum here, if you can, to give something back to your school, if you can.
Yeah. Now, would you say that in terms of like once a year donating or like regular and, monthly or suggestions on easy thing to give back? Because sometimes you're like, everything is tight. I can't right now. But maybe there's like an easier way.
Yeah, I would say give what you can when you can. I know different schools have different options. You can do every month, you can do annually, or you can give as you wish, you know? So it's not so much about putting pressure because I know like those conversations are pretty delicate when it comes to finances and donating. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if you can and when you can, please do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. You said something, and talking about how there's 107 HBCUs. That reminded me. I watched the HBCU
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
was the keynote speaker for. So, did you have a chance to watch it?
In and out. So I saw, are you talking about the one with JP Morgan Chase?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so I saw Kevin Hart, I saw President Obama, Steve Harvey,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's all I caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about the fact that that even existed? I remember when you guys were promoting it because of your partnership with Thurgood Marshall. Was it Thurgood Marshall who had,
Yeah.
when you had that talk and they did? I was like, it's sort of dope that they're focusing only on HBCU. It's not just like all colleges and all high. There's a specific HBCU graduation.
Yeah, so JP Morgan, they're one of our partners. So, and we have a great relationship with the president of the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. So we're all kind of just in this together. We were excited, you know, our team was excited when we heard about the HBCU graduation, the virtual commencement focused solely on HBCUs. And that's what prompted our interview with Dr. Williams. And we wanted to promote it to get as many people tuned in as we could, because it was just, I mean, it's just incredible to hone in on a group of people that are always so overlooked.
Yes.
You know, like, always so overlooked. So to have like that graduation experience with so many like notable celebrities, just to say congratulations to HBCU graduates, that means a lot, and it goes really far.
Yeah, I agree. I watched it and it was so awesome. It was, you know, and like I think the president from almost every school had a graduation message for the class of 2020. So just seeing as many presidents, men and women, young and old, that range was super cool too. But like you said, so many celebrities who were encouraging to go to an HBCU or not, just really, really supporting the students. I thought it was so dope.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It definitely made me a little emotional when I watched it.
Yes. Yeah. Like, oh.
Yeah, definitely.
Question. Have you had any communication with anyone from the Tom Joyner Foundation? Their primary purpose is to raise scholarship money for HBCUs.
We have been connected briefly with Tom Joyner's son. So we are going to continue the conversation to see how we can support each other and possibly partner. But that is definitely a relationship that has, it started.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Sorry if you hear a little bit of pots and pans at 7 o'clock, and you always cheer for the essential workers at 7. So my block.
Oh yeah, you are in New York City. Yes, that's cool.
So can you talk a little bit about the series, virtual series you've been doing with HBCU Week?
Yeah, so HBCU Week 2020 is going to look so different in September. Very recently, the state of Delaware announced that we can have gatherings of up to 250. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, starting June 1st, and it's like, okay, I don't know if they're going to follow through with that, but it was announced. But nevertheless, we have our college fair that housed 3,500 kids. Our Battle of the Bands, we had 7,000 people. Stephen A. Smith brought his show, First Take, down to the college fair for a live broadcast. That was another 3,000 people. We're not going to be able to do it the way that we want to do it. So in my mind, I want to keep the conversation going about HBCUs as we decide how to roll it out in September. Mm-hmm. So the idea came from a mentor of mine when I was just talking to her. Her name is Nadine. I love her so much. Just talking to her about different things to do. I'm like, Nadine, what am I going to do? And we just started bouncing ideas off of each other, and we came to the conversation series idea. So from there, I just kind of drafted up like the purpose, what I wanted it to look like, and started reaching out to people to do interviews. And Stephen A. was on board for our first interviewee, which was great. That conversation was really good. He's such a great speaker. He's so dynamic. And then from there to book out each Thursday. So I want to do this indefinitely.
That's awesome.
The conversation series, I want to keep it going weekly, indefinitely. So there's no end in sight.
Thursday, how can people tune in? What time? All that.
Yeah, so Thursday, I'm so excited about Thursday. I have Felicia Butterfield Jones joining. I look up to her so much. If you have not read her book, The Girl Print, please read it. Yeah, it's a great book. It captures her journey, how she got to where she was, and different, trials and ups and downs, and a lot of moments where she had to just bet on herself and go with her gut. And I love the book for so many reasons. I could go on and on. But she's recently been appointed the first ever Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer for the Recording Academy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the coolest job ever, right? So, yeah. Yeah, so I'll be interviewing her tomorrow at 8 p.m.
Okay.
It's free if you want to join. The link is in my bio. The link is in the HBCU Week Instagram bio. You can just click on that, register tomorrow at 8 p.m., and we'll be talking with Miss Butterfield Jones.
Awesome. Here, I'm going to see if I can pin this again. I don't know if I can. Some of your other speakers, you said Stephen A. Smith. You have Valisha tomorrow. Who else have
So last week we had Jamila Mustafa, who is so dynamic to be so young. Jamila is about 26 years old, but she has been grinding and grinding. She works for MTV. She's worked for BET. She's worked for ESPN. She does celebrity interviews. She went to Delaware State University. Before Jamila, we had Antoine Bethea, another Howard alum who had a 14-year stint in the NFL, which is unheard of.
Wow. That
Yeah,
long?
so that conversation, yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, you just don't hear about that. I think the average NFL career is like, what, 4 years or something like that?
Yeah.
And he maintained for 14. So, yeah, that was a cool conversation. It was very encouraging for people that tuned in because he just really, you know, unpacked everything and told his full, transparent story.
Yeah.
So, those are the people I've had so far, and I'm continuing to lock people in, and I'll definitely broadcast those people as they are booked.
Awesome. And then all HBCU alum are your featured speakers every week?
Yes. Now, I may make exceptions for people that support HBCUs in a way that is like astonishing. They may not have attended, but they've done something incredible to support an HBCU.
Right.
Yeah. So traditionally, for the most part, they will be alum.
So on your journey of building HBCU Week, which I feel like the growth is incredible in 3 years, like so many props to you for that.
Thank you.
Some of your challenges that you've come to as you've been growing this.
Yeah. Well, the first one was the one I mentioned earlier, the criticism about why only HBCUs. Kids may want to go to another school or maybe interested in a different path. My response to that was, well, this just is not for that kid, right? I can't be everything to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I am incredibly passionate about the HBCU experience, and I'm going to continue to stay in that lane without deviating from it to expose as many kids as I can to the opportunity. That's been the main criticism for sure. Why all HBCUs?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Is whether it was, how did you first few sponsors, like that first year have sponsors, how did that kind of happen?
So that's interesting. So the city of Wilmington sponsored our event in 2017. I work for the mayor of Wilmington.
Okay.
And the way this all unfolded was, he's like, tell me what you want to do, Ashley. Do you have any ideas? Like, tell me any projects you want to work on. So I thought about it and I came up with the idea. And I was kind of insecure about it because our mayor is an older, wealthy white man. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how am I going to convince him to have the blackest event of all time in his city, right? So one day I was like, just go in there and tell him. So I went in, I told him, he jumped on board. He has been the #1 cheerleader for it, which is so amazing. So it started out as a City of Wilmington event. Mm-hmm. And then with it being a City of Wilmington event, he connected us with different people, working for the mayor now. He's very connected. He's a businessman. He's done so much before he became the mayor. So it's easy for him to pull out his Rolodex and say, hey, yeah, you can talk to him. You can talk to her. And then just being with him and next to him, you meet a whole slew of people. And then my co-founder, Earl Cooper, he connected with Stephen A's college roommate. That's how we got Stephen A on board as the ambassador. Wow. And then there was a golf outing that our chief of staff was supposed to go to, but she didn't want to go. She's like, I don't want to go. And Earl happens to be a professional golfer. So she's like, can you go to this golf tournament for me? Like, I don't want to go. So he goes, he meets the higher ups at Chemours, and we get the conversation started. We recently signed an agreement. I was connected with young man, one of the principals at Deloitte. I was connected with him. We had several conversations, and we've just signed a partnership agreement with Deloitte. So it's really like when when you're aligned in your purpose and you
Yeah.
are walking in the path that you are meant to go, you're going to find that doors, I'm not saying there's not going to be any challenges,
Yeah.
but you're going to find that so many doors just open.
So
They
true.
just open. And you're going to sit and wonder, like, how the hell did I meet this person? How did I get Deloitte to say that they would jump on board and do this project for free for HBCU week,
Yes.
right? And you got to realize, I don't know if you're spiritual, all the people that are working, I mean, that are listening right now, but you got to realize that it's not you.
Absolutely. Oh
It's
my.
not you, right? I mean, you can say what you want. You can give yourself, a pat on the back all you want, but it's
Right.
not you.
Oh,
It's not you, right? So, just moments like that continue to remind you that you're in the right place, doing the right thing at the right time.
yeah. When they had a comment earlier, people kill me for your purpose. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I love the way she put that. I
yeah,
love the way she put that. Yeah. Yeah, you got to stay true to what your purpose is, and you know what that is. You
absolutely.
do.
And I think too, just looking back on it, kind of finds you. You know what I mean? Because you said you went to law school, you did for the traditional roles, but something told you like there's something more. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, got to do something else. So I think
Yeah.
fine with it, like you said, like the floodgates open.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, people I would have never thought I would have connected with.
Hmm.
It
That's
just, yeah. It's been an amazing experience.
so incredible. So how
Hmm.
a little bit, but how has the COVID-19 thing affected you? I know you said you're kind of figuring out how to evaluate the college fair, but in general, has it impacted you?
Yeah, that's interesting. So I have a marketing and ad agency that does all of our fundraising and gets all of our sponsors for our events. And we just signed on with them before this whole COVID pandemic.
Wow.
And originally, they would go out to all these different companies and try to get them to sponsor these huge events.
Hmm.
So right now, we're just kind of slow walking it out, trying to figure out what we can do virtually, what we can do with a smaller amount of people, and see how we can engage sponsors that way. The good part about it is we already have JP Morgan Chase on board, Bank of America, Deloitte, and Comores. So we have a pretty solid team.
Yeah.
So however we do roll out in 2020, it's going to be great. It's just going to be different. And
Yeah.
then prayerfully back in when 2021 comes around, we'll be able to get back into the normal groove of things.
Yeah. That's very cool. I'm just like blown. You have huge sponsors. Like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I know. Girl, I mean, even when I say I don't, even when I say it, I get equally excited. It's not normal to me yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been a few years, but
Right. Awesome. So let's go back to HBCU experiences. What is your favorite or a few favorite HBCU moments or memories that you have?
Okay. So, I was the vice chair of Howard Homecoming 2006.
Hmm.
That's when I first started my whole I love entertainment. What kind of job am I going to have kind of journey?
Yep.
Um, I started out volunteering for homecoming. Then the next year I was the comedy show coordinator, and then the next year I was vice chair. But being vice chair was the most incredible experience. I mean, you have literally hundreds of thousands of people that migrate to DC, including all of the people that already go there for this homecoming experience. And to be able to lead the effort to coordinate those events, make sure everything's in place, it was a great experience. It was so great. And I got to do it with two of my line sisters, Barbara and Quane. I think, yeah, they're both on. It was such a great experience to do that together, right? Like, and we
Yeah.
would sit back like, damn, look what we did, y'all. Like, we got all these people here, these events. So our homecoming is no joke, right? Like, coordinating that was crazy, but it was a very rewarding experience. And I also have to say, joining Alpha Chapter Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, spring 2006. Nikki happens to be my line sister, y'all. So, yeah, I mean, I got 40 sisters that I love dearly. We all keep in contact. And Nikki can also tell you, and anybody else who's listening, that may be on our line or associated with our chapter, we have a very tight-knit and close-knit chapter. Like, I can call my line sisters for anything.
Yep.
A question, a comment, no matter what time it is. I need help. What do you think? Advice. Like, just that bond, that sisterhood that we have is something that I will never take for granted. So those are, and then my third moment was having my son with me at graduation.
Oh.
So I ended up getting pregnant the summer before my senior year. So I had my son in February of my senior year. That was a grind because I graduated on time. And he was 3 months at graduation, and Oprah was the commencement speaker. So it was just a full circle crazy moment. Like, because I remember when I found out I was pregnant, and I'm like, how am I going to get this done? And, just going home, making it work. I didn't go home, honestly, until about 2 weeks before I delivered. And then, just made it happen. It happen. So those are my 3 favorite moments at Howard for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, Ty said that's our baby.
Yeah, that's the line baby. Ryan is Resurgence baby.
Motherhood sort of worked into everything, because I know that time role itself. So how have you been able to balance and kind of work with your motherhood, career, and HBCU, kind of getting it all together?
Yeah, it's a lot. But I will say, one of my favorite people that I look up to, who I am going to be interviewing tomorrow, Alicia Butterfield-Jones. I attended a master class of hers, and one of the things that she said, I will never forget. Stop trying to achieve balance because it doesn't exist. There are going to be days where you don't get to A or you don't get to B, and you have to prioritize on what it is that you're doing. So I have learned to make sure that my priorities are always aligned.
Yeah.
Always. My son is at a very critical stage. He's 13. So I have to give him, I know, crazy, right? 13 years old. So I have to be there for all these moments and give him all the, emotional support that he needs as a not a preteen, because I guess that'd be 12, as a young teenager, a young man. So those sporting events, those activities, like, they matter. They really, really matter. And then, just trying to prioritize with HBCU week, my own personal brand. It is a grind. It's definitely a grind. But for me, it's just about making sure that whatever it is that I'm doing, I'm able to look at full circle what's going on, what means the most, and how to make it happen. Yeah.
I mean, that's on point. Like, balance won't exist. And I think my mom, she said she loves that advice. And I think, to your point, once you get that, you wrap your head around that, then you're like, okay, now I got
it. Right, because you'll drive yourself crazy. There's not enough hours in the day. Something is going to have to take a back seat at some point. And you have to be okay with it. You can't guilt trip yourself over that either.
Right. That's so
true. It's just about, you got to make sure that you're doing, in your mind, you'll be able to sleep at night. You'll be able to get up in the morning and look in the mirror and feel comfortable. That's just really what it's about, for sure.
You have to be okay with it. Everyone, there's going to be critics. Like, there's going to be those critics all the time. You just have to do what makes you comfortable.
For sure. Definitely.
Cool. All right. Well, we're winding down. What can we expect in the future from HBCU Week?
Oh my gosh, just bigger, better. Whenever anyone asks me, what are my goals for HBCU Week? I want HBCU Week to be as recognizable as the Super Bowl, right? When the Super Bowl comes around, everybody's playing in to figure out, where are we watching that? This is the best event ever. It's so exciting. I want HBCU Week to be that. So I could tell you 2020 is going to be different, but we're still here. We're present. 2021, getting back to business, much bigger, much better, more notable people attached, more kids getting into schools, more scholarship dollars, more on-the-spot acceptances, more partnerships. Just growing the brand, making it bigger and better with every step we take.
Awesome. How many schools right now do you have attending the fair, the career fair?
26. So we have 26. Yeah. The goal is to get to 50. And then after that, we can go regionally. A lot of schools don't have the funding in their budget to travel or to attend, or, some of our HBCUs are struggling. So that's another reason why we'd like to bring it to them in their region, so they don't have to acquire that expense, and we can get those kids in that area that may want to go to that school or may not even think that college is an option, and then they attend and like, oh my God, I got in. Right. So that's one of the other reasons why we want to pop up throughout the country with these events.
Mm-hmm. So one more time, how can people support and stay connected with you guys?
So follow us. HBCU Week is the handle for our Instagram. Our website is up, but right now it's a landing page, so we don't have all the information on it that we need, but check in at hbcuweek.org. And you'll have all that information you need for sure. If you can't get it, there's a question that you have that you're looking for on our website, you can DM our Instagram page and we will surely get back to you.
Awesome. Candace said, that's next.
What did she say? Oh, latex X. Yes, I would love to. Yeah.
You see even like the events that you are once we're back outside of this. You said at first it was just college fair, then you had the bands, and you kind of gone. Do you see even that more too?
Yeah. The Battle of the Bands is such a cool event, and so we operate out of our minor league baseball stadium right now. That's the biggest venue that we have to accommodate that here in the city, so we can gather about 7,000 people. But people love their bands. I'm telling you, they come from all over the country.
Wow, really?
To get to this battle. They do. Wow. Yeah, because the only other major Battle of the Bands I want to say is Honda. I don't know that, and it takes a lot. Putting together a Battle of the Bands is a lot. I mean, you got to coordinate the bands, the drum majors, the band directors. Like, there's a lot of personalities you got to kind of like work through to get it done the right way. And they operate at a high level of excellence, a very high. So their expectations when they're coming to a Battle of the Bands is that you have your everything tight on your end.
How many?
So it's a lot. 4. We do 4. So last year we had North Carolina A&T, Winston-Salem State. Brandon, if you're listening, help me. Lincoln University, and I can't remember the third one. Because Delaware State did not come because they had a conflict, which we were unhappy about. But I can't remember the fourth one. Yeah. I said Lincoln, Tiffany. I said Lincoln. Hampton. I'm sorry. I forgot about Hampton. Oh. Hampton was the fourth band. I'm sorry. Yeah, Hampton. And they were good. Hampton has a great band. North Carolina A&T was definitely the winner.
Okay. That's awesome. That's what other, have any thoughts on what the other events add to this week are?
Well, right now it's pretty packed. So we start off with a church service, which I think is very important on a Sunday. A lot of HBCUs were founded in church basements. So we go from our church service to a community service event, which would be taking middle school kids on a college tour to Delaware State.
Oh, wow.
Then we have the currency conversation, which is in partnership with JP Morgan Chase and Essence, where women gather to speak on financial literacy and, just building the backbones of our communities. We do an R&B concert where we connected with one of our supporters. Her name is Heather Lowry. She is the CEO and president of Fem It Forward. She worked for Live Nation, and now she's doing her own thing with the Fem It Forward. So she was behind the Jill Scott Erykah Badu battle.
Oh,
so
wow.
She does concerts. Yeah, Heather is so dope. She went to Spelman. She's also from Delaware. She helps us out so much. So appreciative of Heather. But we do an R&B concert. We do a panel discussion. We do the college fair. We do First Take with Stephen A. And we do Battle of the Bands. So it's a pretty,
Okay, like homecoming and
Oh
how.
my gosh, it is the craziest week ever. That week is so crazy. But it's definitely worth it. And we are in conversation to see how we can expand it even more. So yeah, we're going to continue to grow it.
Very cool. Well, we
Mm-hmm.
down. So I want to thank you again for joining this awesome conversation. Like I've learned so much more. So it's great just to hear you speak on HBC again. To share it with everyone watching. Thank you for joining. It's incredible. Incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate you thinking of me and inviting me on. I always love talking about HBC week. I can do it for hours. So I
Or
hope I didn't bore people that are listening.
have last advice, thoughts, words, how people can contact you, anything else there.
Okay. So you can contact me at HBCU Week. Hit us in the DM if you have any questions or anything that you like to discuss any further. But my parting words to everybody here is just to remember how important it is to support your HBCUs in any manner that you can. Whatever it is that you can do is enough, whatever that is. But just think about that a little more, what you can do to continue to support, because our HBCUs are definitely in need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I enjoyed myself.
Of course, we can have fun again next time when the next just let us know and we're in.
Oh yeah, I will definitely keep you updated, Nikki.
Yes, and I'm gonna
I
hit you
had
up.
a great time.
Show everybody the shirt one more time because I
Oh
love
yeah, for the shirt, merchandise, guys. Here's the merchandise.
H. Yeah, shout out to them. They will have more guys. So everyone say
Yeah.
thank you so much, Ashley.
All right, thank you. I'll see you next time.
Okay, talk to you guys later.
All
Thanks.
right, bye.
Bye.